My name is Pranavi Pulipaka and I am here to present Import and Export report of India using SQL. So these are some of the objectives that were framed based on the data that was provided. Next, this is the data which had 7 columns, namely country, export, import, total trade, trade balance, start year and end year. Here, total trade means the sum of export and import, and trade balance is the difference between export and import. Please note that the negative trade balance or the positive trade balance does not necessarily show the economic state of any country. The negative sign simply indicates the situations where import leads export, and a positive trade balance simply indicates the situations where export leads import. Also, a point to be noted is all the values are in millions. Next, this was all about the data dictionary, wherein the dataset had the list of all the countries to which India imported and exported from the year 1997 to present. Now, this is my MySQL workbench, wherein I created a database named Import and Export India, and I had created the table using the data provided. Now, my first objective was to find out how many countries are associated with India in the trading. So, I have used this query, I've written this query wherein I have found out that if you see at the message, there are 243 countries. If you see this, there are 243 rows that are returned. That simply indicates that there are 243 countries that were associated with India in the trading. My next objective is to find what is the total import to India in each year. So I have written this query wherein I have rounded the import to two decimal places and I've grouped the data year wise. When I run this query, so this is what I find out. And if I want to see it visually, this is a graph of total import year wise. Now, if I want to, similarly, I have found for total export to India year wise, and this is the graph that shows up. Now, if I want to compare both of them, so import versus export year wise, and the graph clearly shows that import leads export. My next objective is to find the countries that account to the largest total trade. Remember, total trade is the sum of import and export. So I have written this query where I've summed the total trade. I've grouped it by country and ordered the total trade in the descending order because I'm interested to find out the topmost countries that account to the largest total trade. So when I run this query, we have seen US, China, United Arab Emirates. Just few of the countries that have largest total trade with India. Now, my next objective is to find the largest importers, the countries from the countries India imports majority of its goods. So, if I run this query, so here I have used a window function where I've used a rank. I've grouped it by country and I put a condition that I want only top 10 countries. So, it has ranked the countries based on the largest import. So China is the country, China is leading it way, which shows that we import majority of the goods from China, followed by United Arab Emirates and US. Now to find out the largest exporters, which means that I want to find the top 10 countries to which India sends its goods. So if I run this query, I find out the top 10 countries which are the largest exporters, right? Where USA is on the top. These are the countries. Next object is to find the highest trade balance. Highest trade balance is where I want to see the positive trade balance, the situations where export has lead from import. When I run this query, I can see USA, Bangladesh, Netherlands, Nepal. These are the countries where export is more than import with respect to India. Similarly, this is for the lowest trade balance. Okay, now if I want to compare the trade balance for top 10 countries with the highest total trade. So here top 10 countries is based on the highest total trade. When I run this query, I can see these are the countries where the total trade, so the top 10 has been selected based on total trade and I'm comparing its trade balance. So for a better understanding, let us look at the visual. So this is a graph of total trade versus trade balance of top 10 countries. Okay. Next objective was to find out import versus export of top 10 countries with highest total trade. So again, when I run this query, I get the top 10 countries which compares its total imports and total export based on its total trade. So again, if I want to see visually, this is a graph of import versus export country wise, wherein in case of USA, import from USA to India is less, whereas export to USA is more. On the other hand, if you look at China, import from China to India is more as compared to export to China, right? So these were few of the insights that we understand from the data using SQL. And this is the figure wherein we clearly see that the total money spent on import is more as compared to the total revenue generated from export. This is a few of the insights that we just discussed. And countries like USA, United Arab Emirates, China, Saudi Arabia, Switzerland are involved with the largest total trade with India. Means whether be it import or export, these are the countries which have the highest trading done between India and these countries. And the graph also suggests that import has always been more than export. Now, the data had been taken from this particular website, that is kaggle.com. Thank you.